Welcome to the Backpacking Podcast. As always, John Kelly here with Jeremiah Stringer, the king of Kentucky backpacking, and a new dad.
Oh, we have a prince of Kentucky backpacking.
Yeah, and don't forget, the Backpacking Podcast is brought to you by Outdoor Vitals, making performance-first ultralight gear. And of that ultralight gear that we like so much are definitely those Skyline joggers.
Oh, yeah. Highlight the Skyline joggers, dude, because I wore them literally all day yesterday. I had 5 hours of driving, and I said, what would be the perfect outfit? Oh, the Skyline joggers, because they let my crotch breathe. And when you're on trail,
It's important.
that's exactly what you need. And it's got 3 pockets. Back pocket, 2 front pockets, nice and airy, elastic band on the waist, so you don't have to worry about wearing a belt. And, this is my take. I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if Outdoor Vitals would endorse it, but I think since they're joggers that hug around your ankles, your shin area, they help prevent ticks. That's just me. That's just me. Unofficial take. I can't say it's officially endorsed, but I'll just let that sit there. So check out outdoorvitals.com. and buy yourself some Skyline joggers today.
Yeah, I love them personally. And Jeremiah, I have to tell you something. I'm going to have to get some new ones.
Oh, you've been wearing yours out?
No, they're too big.
Oh, keep dropping in weight?
Yeah, dude, we just finally hit the teens, 218 as of this morning on the weight. So that's down from, well, what do we say? January of last year was 305. So we're just a few pounds away from being down 90. So big time loss there. So we're excited about that. But I'm going to have to. Oh, that was awful kind of you.
You're proud.
Woo, buddy. Shuck needed to be in there too. But so I got to get a new pair because I have to pull them clear up high to get them to stay up. Or else they're even with the drawstrings, they don't stay in place. So I'm gonna have to talk to our good buddies over at Outdoor Vitals and say, "Hey guys, so this just happened."
I think they'll happily hook you up. But I sized up on mine, man. I double sized up. I know I saw that somebody had commented and they're like, "Oh, I had ordered some clothes from Outdoor Vitals and they were too small." And I said, "That's because you didn't size up, bro." The models that they have out there, I mean, Tayson, Derek, these guys are so fit. Yeah. And their clothes are athletic fit. So if you're like me and you don't have the athletic fit body, then you might want to size up a little bit. That's just my opinion. I don't have the athletic style body. So
Yep. I got you, dude. I got you 100% on that. Hey, so another really cool thing that we need to talk about today is our good friends over at Outdoor Beards, because Outdoor Beards has been sponsoring this show for 4 years now. Does that sound right? 4 years?
4 or 5 years, dude. And I just got a care package in the mail from them.
I saw the email for that.
Yep, I got a little care package. I got all their new flavors, and they're new to me. Some of them aren't new. He's been making these for years. He's got the formula figured out. But I went with pretty much all oils and their soap. Now, they got a bunch of products, but the oil that I put on this morning was the summertime. I had never tried it before. I'd never smelled of it. I don't think he'd ever sent me any. I hadn't asked for it. And it smells like summertime, man. It's perfect for a nice July day.
Well, let me ask you a question. What does summertime smell like?
Well, the easiest thing that I can compare it to is just like freshness. Summertime, it's like, I don't know. It's hard to describe the smell. I put about 14 drops in my hand because, as you can see, if y'all are watching, my beard, see, it's getting longer and longer every day because the oil keeps it from having split ends. And I put like 14 drops in my hands. I rub them together. There's a term for it. Is it emulsify? I don't know. I'm just making it up. And I smell it. Yeah. There is a term for whenever you like put something in your hands and rub it to heat it up and make it more aromatic. I just can't remember what it's called.
I like to call it the Mr. Miyagi method.
Oh, that's
so if you've watched The Karate Kid, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you're probably thinking of Miyagi on the Trail. 2 different people. But
I almost did a Miyagi accent there, but I didn't want to get canceled, so I didn't do it.
That's awful smart of you. Awful smart of you. So, thank you to Outdoor Beards for constantly supporting this podcast and just being an all-around awesome brand that both of us use.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, you got a baby.
I did want to add one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
If you want 10% off, use our code backpacking when you go to outdoorbeards.com and check out. So save yourself a little money and get yourself a luscious beard like John or I.
Yes, yes. And these luscious beards are because of our good friends at Outdoor Beards. No doubt about it. Jeremiah, you're a dad.
I am indeed a dad.
You are a dad. It's no longer someday Jeremiah will be a dad. Jeremiah is just a dad now. And I'm going to give you a fair warning with that beard.
Yeah.
It won't happen yet, but it's coming. The day will come when the child realizes I can grab that beard and I can pull.
Will that be the day I have to shave the beard?
It's up to you. I kept mine, some things you just suffer for because, you do. But that's your call on that one. But I'm just letting you know, the more hair there is, the more they can grab onto. And when they grab on, they're surprisingly strong.
Dude, we were at the hospital and Bridget had a cesarean, so we had to stay for a few days and I had to sleep on that futon. Have I told you about this?
Yeah.
So the ladies that were our nurses, they come in and, you got like a nurse for the baby, nurse for the mom. And they were like, what? I have to ask, what is that? And I had my camping equipment set up on top of the futon. So I went through and I was like telling her the R value of my sleeping pad. And she didn't hear anything. I was like having withdrawals from not backpacking. So here I am talking to this nurse about my backpacking equipment. She was like, and what's that thing? And I was like, oh, this is a pump sack for the sleeping pad. She's like, how does it work? She's like, hey, is that supposed to be a pillow? And I was like, no, you just blow into it. You got to roll it down. I'd done a demonstration for her. And then she basically just walked out of the room. She was barely satiated on the knowledge for backpacking. And then I was like, oh, yeah, people in the real world, if they're not into backpacking, they literally don't care about this stuff. She was just curious.
That's hilarious.
I got to tell you, it made it 100 times more comfortable having my Nemo Tensor Alpine to sleep on in the hospital. Could have slept in the floor. And I just felt bad for all the other dads. I'd wake up from a great night's sleep and be like, oh. And then all the other dads, I'd see them. How you sleeping? Oh, man, it's miserable. I'm like, I'm sorry, bro.
I'm sleeping great. I'm sleeping great.
Yeah.
So which sleeping pad did you use?
That was the Nemo Tensor.
The Nemo Tensor.
Done great, man, because it's 25 inches wide. You got to have the 25-inch wide sleeping pad.
I used to.
And then you upgraded?
I'm not as wide as I used to be, so it doesn't really bother me nearly as much as it used to.
Well, is the standard a 20-inch?
20-inch, yeah. Yeah, I'm only 5'8", so I'm only 5'8", so I don't have the broadness of people that are 6'20" like you. So,
are you a back sleeper or a side sleeper or stomach?
I'm definitely a side sleeper.
Side sleep. Well, I am too, and my problem is if I side sleep and the sleeping pad's too narrow, everything's fine except like part of my leg or my knee or my feet are hanging off the backside, like some part of my lower body where I like kind of curled up in the fetal position, getting comfy. Part of my body has to hang off because, like you said, it's the tallness. So I need the 25 wide, I think.
I can understand that. So Jeremiah, we have a topic for today that was a pretty hot topic not too long ago.
Yeah, before we get to it, can I ask you about how everything's going with the moving and everything? I love the background.
You like seeing the furnace over here? Right behind me?
Yeah. Well, actually, dude, your camera is so good. The f-stop is so generous that really you got like a nice blurry background and it looks very modern behind you.
Oh, honestly. Well, that was the intent.
Yeah, it's much better than mine. Yeah. Mine, I mean, I got a camping equipment shelf back here and yeah.
Well, hopefully in about 2 weeks, we're going to start constructing my actual office/studio area. So that's going to change everything.
All right,
That's going to change everything. It's going to look really good. I've got some big plans.
Y'all settling in okay in the new place?
We are. Most of the furniture is done now as far as like stuff we had to make. Because we decided, we'd been living with old furniture for years, and we didn't have an actual bedroom set. I think I still have my dresser from when I was a kid, you know? And so we were like, you know what, let's get our own bedroom set and all that. And so we hit up Amazon because, everybody's got to hit the Amazons up when you're trying to buy stuff. And so we got on there and bought a bunch of stuff that I had to build. And I'm one dresser away from being done, but I took like a week break from building furniture because
I was going to ask. That means your timeline, you didn't order that stuff on Prime Day then, because it sounds like you were putting it together before Prime Day even started.
Oh, yeah. If I'd have waited till Prime Day, we wouldn't have had anything in the house mostly. So, yeah. And then we bought a bunch of Adirondack chairs for the back patio area. Which I like to call the Oasis.
Oh, yeah, dude. I seen you post a picture of sitting out there having a coffee at sunrise when you first moved in. I was like, oh, I'm so jealous. But
and then the back patio, when it's lit up at night, it's pretty sweet. So,
well, yeah. I'll come up there sometime and we can record at your place and I can check it all out.
See, what you have to do is come up some like Saturday, bring the baby and the wife with you so my wife can hold your baby, because that's all she wants to do right now is hold your baby.
Man.
And you guys can just the wives can hang out, and you and I can come down here in the basement and look really primitive and record.
That sounds perfect, dude.
Well, hey, let's get on this topic.
I got the topic right here in front of me, man. It's in my journal.
Yes, the topic we're talking about today is what, Jeremiah?
Well, like you mentioned before, this would kind of be the second iteration of dirty secrets that backpackers refuse to share. Now, those of you who have listened to the last episode may remember me talking about how there was a specific company that sponsored my video, and then they pulled the sponsorship right before I published it. So I had to edit out their sponsored portion. And then that video went on to get like 500,000 views. And I laughed in the face of the company, even though I never told them. They don't even know what they missed. But
yeah. They lost a lot of money is what they did.
So
they lost a lot of money.
Hopefully I'm not foreshadowing, but I'm revisiting this topic on my YouTube channel, Jeremiah Stringer Hikes. And I have 6 new dirty secrets that we're going to share today in long form. And if you want to see the short form and see if the company pulls out of the ad again, because they might do the same thing after hearing some of these juicy secrets.
Oh, that's funny.
So we'll see if I make any money off that video or not. But let me go ahead and give you the first one, and you give me your opinion on this.
Okay, now just for full disclosure, I have no idea what any of these are.
No, you've never.
This is the second video we've done in like the last month or two where I'm the one that doesn't know what's going on. Usually I pull that on you, but you're actually pulling that on me today. So this every take I have today is my honest first thought, top of my head thought. So.
We're all about authenticity here.
Yep.
Now, also, let me say one other disclaimer here. I'm going to try to keep this as PG as possible, okay? But these are the dirty, juicy secrets of the trail. So we're talking about adults on the trail. So if you're listening with kids, maybe listen next week, or if you're okay with them hearing it, I think it's going to be pretty PG, but I'm just saying ahead of time.
But the topics could be a little juicy.
Yeah, the topics could be a little juicy. Okay, the first one. We're having this lady on. Her name's Sally, and I alluded to it last week. She wrote this memoir of her Appalachian Trail hike, and it triggered this little first point for me. Spoiler alert, she met her now husband, on the trail. But at the time, had a boyfriend, okay? And her boyfriend were long distance, broke up. She started dating this guy. Now they have at least one child. I can't remember if they have more. And that got me thinking, this is a thing. People may not think about it because you're all stinky and you're hiking and all that, but through hiker hookups, they are absolutely real.
Hunter, our friend Hunter, his girlfriend
Yeah.
of the last 3 or 4 years, he met her on the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, and they are still together.
Yeah.
I see him post on Instagram all the time. And I think maybe you're just out there and you're meeting people of similar interest and you're like, where else in my life am I going to ever meet somebody that I not only get to spend like 16 hours with, some rando that I met on trail. So you really get to unpack them and get to know them. And they have similar interests as you. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be out there on trail. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But the juicy secret part is sometimes it's not always just a soulmate. Sometimes it's just a weekend fling or an overnighter, kind of like picking up somebody in a bar. So that's my first dirty secret is the hookups on trail. They are real.
Absolutely 100% real.
Okay.
100%.
You ready for the second one?
Yeah, let's hear the second one.
Okay. Now, we may have talked about this one before. It is June 21st. It's a national holiday. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. I know this one. National Don't Hike with Your Kids Day.
Dude, somebody's going to catch some charges out there on June 21st.
Yes.
Yes. So I am not endorsing to do this, but I am telling you that there are hundreds, if not thousands, that will be out there and were out there last June 21st. And they're hiking around naked. And some of them are wearing a bandana tied around their midsection. Some of them just have their shirt off. Some of them are just carrying a backpack with everything they own in it.
Some people are full Adam and Eve.
Yes, full-on birthday suit.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, honestly, I'm not sure how I'd react. Let's say that I had my toddler.
I would be mad.
Yeah, that would be awkward.
Yeah. But if you notice, I'm going to say 90% of the people who are doing this don't have kids. So they don't even think about it. You know what I mean?
They don't at all.
I mean, think of yourself 2 years ago. You probably think differently now than you did 2 years ago.
Oh, even 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, it's just different. When you have kids, suddenly things just are your scope and the way you look at stuff is just different.
Yeah, it's like you switch out the lens.
Yeah.
Looking through a different lens. But maybe we're doing a PSA here, dude. Maybe we are declaring June 21st Don't Hike with Your Kids Day.
That's what I've been calling it the last 2 years. Is Don't Hike with Your Kids Day. Or personally, I just call it Don't Hike Day because I don't want to see that. I don't care who you are. I just don't want to see it. Like later.
That book that I mentioned earlier that Sally wrote. We'll talk more about obviously on the episode that we have her. She was talking about her experience with this, and you can read her book on if she participated or not, and her group of friends, her trail family, and all that. But her through hike was actually in 2003, so that got me thinking. Wow. I didn't realize just how long June 21st had been a national holiday.
So this year was the 21st anniversary of June 21st.
Isn't that crazy?
And don't hike unless you're 21 or older. Like, there's a lot of 21s this last year.
I'm going to Google how long Hike Naked Day has been around. I wonder if Google will even tell me.
I don't know.
It's unclear when it began, but it was a tradition of the AT and PCT. And it says Colin Fletcher also wrote about it. He done it during his hot days on the PCT and in the Grand Canyon in his popular hiking books. Do you know who Colin Fletcher is?
No, I don't know Colin Fletcher.
Me either.
Maybe we need to find out who that is.
Yeah, maybe we can ask him if he was the official crowner. Maybe he started it. This road of immorality we started down with Colin. I'm just kidding. You, Colin.
What are you doing, Colin? What are you doing, Colin?
All right, you ready for the next one?
Give me the next one.
All right, number 3. We could probably talk about this for a minute because we both lived it. Juicy secret number 3. Friends and family will not love hiking, backpacking, or the outdoors in general just because you do. And sometimes I'll take it even a step further. You taking them is going to make both your lives miserable out there. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. You know, in September, I'm going on a camping trip with my family. Like my wife's actually going. And it's because we're doing this Trail Life American Heritage Girls thing that we're doing now. And she is dreading even the thought of it, man. Like, even the thought of it. She's just like, she's not excited about it like I am. But all I'm thinking is I finally get my wife camping. We're going to go camping. My wife, we're going to be in a tent. We're going to be out in the woods. So we'll see how it goes. But it's like you said, it could backfire.
Or it could go the other direction.
You know, I'm hopeful that it will go the other direction. Because I took her and the kids hiking down around, where were we at? Cumberland Falls. She had a blast. She had a great time. And she goes, yeah, but on this one we had to climb rocks. We had to do this. I was like, babe, you do that when you hike. Like that. Those are normal hiking things. She was just like, you know, blown away. And the thing is, I could talk about this because she's probably not going to even listen to this episode. But I'm hopeful. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm hopeful.
Well, expectations, I found when it comes to like taking somebody on a trip, they're huge. So just a little advice from me to our listeners out there. If you are thinking about dragging somebody along that you're having like convince, you know, you'll love this. It's awesome. I always have the best time. You know, it might be type 2 fun, but we still have a good time and it makes for great stories and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I try to go through just my 2 cents. I try to go through the plan so that they kind of know what a day in the life is going to look like, whether I'm camping or, you know, maybe we're just kayaking or backpacking overnight or whatever. And I think that might help some, but I want to hear what your percent on the odds there. What percent do you think you're confident in that you're going to take her and she's going to be like, okay, yep, we're inching toward doing this some more, or you're going to turn her away? Where are those percentages sitting at?
Okay, so one of the things I'm doing though is I am making this the most bougie camping experience I possibly can. So we're getting ready to pick up a Gazelle tent. I don't know if you've seen those. They're the hub tents. They take like less than a minute to set up, but they're massive. So it'll have 2 rooms in it. It'll have something like a 6.5, 7 foot ceiling in it, so we can walk around on the inside. I have, Jeremiah, this is how bougie we're going to make this thing. I am bringing an outdoor air conditioner with me.
You need it in September? I'd say it'd still be pretty warm depending on where
here in Kentucky, it could be pretty warm. So I'm bringing that with me so it won't get too hot at night. Or during the day if she just wants to go in and nap during the day, you know. I'm making sure that we have stuff to keep all the food cold. And let's just say I'm going to probably spend a little money before we go to guarantee that the only reason she doesn't like us because she doesn't want to like it.
Yeah, that's a good way to be. You're leaving her no option. You're like, you're going to like it, and I'm going to make sure you're going to like it.
No, but I think we're looking at like a 40-60, like 40% chance she's going to like it.
Oh, so you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, I love my wife, and she knows that. I've told her this, and so this is not like me talking bad about my wife. She's a stubborn woman. So when she gets her head set that this is how it is, that's how it is. So for me to change her mind, I'm going to have to work at it. Okay, so well, I'm going to make it happen.
And you don't have to answer this, okay? So you just tell me if you don't. But what about the bathroom situation for your all's camping? Like, is your wife a pretty experienced, let me pee in the woods? Because from what I'm hearing, I doubt that that's the case.
There will be a bathroom with showers, I believe, at the campground we're going to.
Running water.
So, yeah, I'm going to have to ease her into this whole thing. It's going to be like, you know, you've heard the story of the frog in the frying pan, right?
I thought it was boiling water.
It is, but you put them in the frying pan, you keep it in cool water, and you slowly heat the water, and over time, eventually it boils and the frog boils to death or whatever. It's absolutely not true. It doesn't work like that. People have tried and that doesn't happen. But what's sick is that people have tried. But it's the fact that I want her to slowly like the outdoors. Mm-hmm. So my eventual goal, and like I said, she's never going to listen to this, so I can tell you this, is that we're going to start off with this bougie camping thing and then slowly become less and less bougie. Slowly take some things out. Oh, I forgot to pack that. Okay, well, that's no big deal. Oh, we didn't even need it. It's a good thing we didn't pack it. And then over the course of, who knows, 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, I don't know, we get to the point where it's like, wait a second, we're 5 miles out in the woods with nothing except just backpacking gear. And I'll be like, well, yeah. And she'll be like, oh, okay. And then we're done. We're good. From that point forward, we're happy. I know there are people listening right now going, John, you're an idiot. That's never going to happen. But that's where I'm at right now. That's my plan.
Yeah, you end up 20 years from now, you all are minimalist. You have only black t-shirts.
We sell our house and buy a tiny house out off the grid.
Yeah, one of those crate homes that's got one bed, one bath.
We'll have satellite internet from Elon Musk. Yeah, we'll have Starlink from Elon Musk. It'll be great. It'll be great.
Speaking of the Starlink, I have a buddy that had a new construction house over outside of Bowling Green, and they didn't have internet access, and the only way they could get it was the Starlink. And they both work from home multiple days a week. And that seems to be great, dude. He can play like PS5. He can do all of his Zoom calls and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, how long before my phone can just have a Starlink app and I can access internet anytime, anywhere in the world?
Yeah, it's not far away. Their biggest issue they're having with it is upload speeds. So once they get that figured out, it'll be good. Because the church I work at, we use Starlink.
Oh, okay.
Because we're out. Okay, get this. We are 40 yards from fiber. Because the main road that goes out near where we are is right out there. But you know how much it costs to get 40 yards of fiber run to the building?
And let me guess before you tell me.
Okay.
I'm going to say 7,500.
80 grand.
No way.
Yeah.
Boy, I was off times 10. That is unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's why we're doing Starlink.
The fiber optics, isn't that, so the cable is basically like, unless I'm totally misinformed, it's like a tiny hole that is shooting the information through.
It's a clear cable, and it's fiber optics is sent through light. So, yeah.
So they're beaming the internet to you through the light.
Yeah.
What a crazy world we live in, dude.
Know, it's insane.
And
if I'm wrong on that, man, just leave a comment. People tell me, John, you're an idiot. That's not how that works. But yeah, I think that's how it works.
Oh, by the way, speaking of comments, I don't know if you noticed, but as I was going through and doing some stuff on the Spotify for podcasters, they have updated their comments situation on Spotify. I think the short of it is Spotify wanted to become a leader in podcasts. So they signed Joe Rogan to this multi-million, hundreds of $1 million contract a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And then they've been slowly, integrating stuff into their platform to make the podcasting better. So they started with making a video available. And now the comment section is basically like YouTube. I don't know what it looks like from the user side, but if we log in as content creators on Spotify, we can go through just like you would on YouTube and heart comments and respond and thumbs up and delete and add. So if you all are getting into the Spotify scene on the comments, we would love to hear your feedback on there as well, instead of only on YouTube. I know it was.
Wow. Yeah, I'm seeing them right now. Yeah.
Yeah, because before they only had polls, and then they had you could ask a question. So then people could answer the question as a comment. But now it's full on comment section.
Well, apparently Nestle wants to control the world's water.
Yeah, we talked about Nestle and how evil they were in one episode. And I saw that comment on there. Yeah. You got any good juicy comments on there?
Yeah, another person said This was episode 219. It said what backpacks do we actually use. So we're actually talking about backpacks, but somehow we got talking about Nestle chocolate. I don't know. But then this one said, as far as German views of Nestle goes, it's because of the environmental damage done so deliberately by the company. And then they said, check out Nestle's involvement in Flint, Michigan water.
Why would they be involved in anything with Flint, Michigan water?
I don't know, but it's something to look at.
Conspiracy. Let me give it a quick Google and see what the AI says on Google. Nestle, Flint water, Michigan. I feel like a conspiracy theorist, dude. Maybe I am. Nestle pays $200 a year to bottle water near Flint. Well, that's what the headline says of The Guardian. I'm not sure. Nestle water increases water donation to Flint to provide for most vulnerable. That was by the cityofflint.com in 2020. They've been providing 100,000 bottles of free water each year and every week to the residents of Flint since May of 2018. That was as of 2020. 9.7 billion bottles donated by Nestle Waters. Well, it sounds to me like they're doing great stuff. Is this just propaganda I'm reading?
I don't know.
Is the mayor of Flint, Michigan in cahoots with Nestle? And I feel like I'm doing a live.
I just know when it comes to like chocolate, Nestle's not my favorite. So
what about the chocolate milk? That's Nesquik.
But that's Nestle. That's still Nestle.
Oh, is that the same company?
Yeah, it's the same company, but
okay.
I mean, I don't know. I like Hershey chocolate better. I like Cadbury chocolate better, you know?
Boy,
Lindor.
Oh, dude, the Lindor with is it like chocolate mousse on the inside?
Oh, that stuff's so good. Yeah.
You know how big of a chocolate eater I am. Dude, let me send you a picture. I don't know if you can put this up on the podcast. If you can, do it quickly and efficiently. I would love that because our viewers can see how sweet I am, just how great of a husband I am.
Oh man, you gonna brag on yourself for a second?
I'm gonna brag on myself for a second. All right, you want me to just text this to you?
Yes, text it to me right now. I can drag it right onto the screen.
Okay, so let me describe the situation here since you're talking about chocolate. So I found that Hershey's makes like all the standard chocolates at Walmart. Even I'm pretty sure they make Reese's as well, don't they?
Maybe.
Like they make Kit Kats, Reese's. Oh, yeah. So Bridget, she was kind of locked to the bed because she's been doing breastfeeding and she had the C-section, like I said.
Those are s'mores.
We didn't get a chance to make our s'mores. So I thought, well, since she's locked to the bed, as long as we don't burn the house down, we can make s'mores in bed. So I Googled it, and apparently it is safe to cook over a candle. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me I have cancer in the comments after seeing this picture. But if you're looking on YouTube or Spotify, you can see the video version. And the lighting's terrible because it was dark in there. It's nighttime, but I have marshmallows everywhere decorating on this tray. I have a couple candles. I have piles of Reese's. I have pre-loaded s'mores with stacked graham crackers, and you can sub out the Hershey's bar for Reese's cups. And Bridget and I made s'mores in bed and had a nice glass of milk, 2% milk, if you're wondering.
You're a good man, dude.
Self-brag, dude.
Good man. And Hershey's does own Reese's, by the way.
Yeah, they own like all these chocolate, all the standard Halloween chocolates.
Yeah, they've owned them since 1963.
Oh, they purchased Reese's. They didn't develop it.
No, they when H.B. Reese's, who was the original owner, his sixth son sold the family business to the company for $23 million. In 1963, they sold it for $23 million.
I wonder what that is today. That's got to be
hundreds. Oh my gosh, that's an insane amount of money for the 1963.
It was worth it. They've made it back for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, got Reese's eggs, Reese's Christmas trees. What other standard Reese's?
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces. I don't know. Tell us in the comments if you can think of any other Reese's. I like them around Christmas and Easter.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Special Dark. I like Hershey's Reese's? Special Dark. Hershey's Special Dark.
Oh, okay.
I like those. Those are delicious. I
I
wish
like
they
the
made a special dark Reese's peanut butter cup.
I'll tell you, well, they might do it. I don't know, but one of my favorites is the special dark sea salt caramel Ghirardelli. Oh
Oh,
man,
Ghirardelli, there's another one.
yeah, that's not Hershey's though, right?
No, but Ghirardelli, have you ever had Ghirardelli hot chocolate?
I didn't even know it existed.
Oh man, it's good. It's like really, really good. Yeah, you'll have
I'm
to
a
get it.
chocolate.
They sell it at Kroger, like at grocery stores.
Oh yeah, I usually get. Only time I drink hot chocolate is like when I'm on trail and it's my cream and sugar for my instant coffee.
Oh yeah. You
Yeah,
make
but
the redneck mocha.
I've been doing the AeroPress, my
Oh
last few
man.
trips, and the quality is so much better. But then I'm torn on, do I need to put in this packet of Kroger hot chocolate? It kind of ruins my coffee because the AeroPress, it tastes like a real cup of coffee.
Right.
So I
I
don't.
get it. We just completely got off the topic of what we were talking about. We should probably jump back in there at some point. Eh,
All right.
so what's our next hot take, man? What's our next a dirty little secret?
Okay. Now this one may be a little controversial.
Oh
All right.
man, bring it.
So my fourth dirty secret is, depending on the trip, depending on the people on the trip, not every trip is going to be a clean cut. We're just out there hiking. Some people are out there and they're doing a little bit more on the partying side. So don't be
Oh
surprised
yeah.
if you get out and you're backpacking. Either you went with the group or you're just hiking and you happen to be staying where other people are staying. You may or may not see a range of intoxicants used. This could be anything from as simple as like, standard alcoholic beverages, beers, that kind of stuff. It could be cannabis. It could be psychedelics. It could be anything. So I want people to be aware of, first of all, who you're going backpacking with, and you might want to maybe talk to them ahead of time. If you're somebody that, you want to go on trips, you're out in the outdoors, and maybe you're a recovering addict or something like that, you might want to ahead of time establish and make sure that this is a good trip for you. And also about bringing your kids too,
Mm-hmm.
because if somebody is if if somebody's bringing like a fifth of vodka with them and they're going to be out there for 2 days and they're out there partying it up and you're going with them, they might not want you to bring your 6-year-old.
Yep.
So I'm throwing that out there, and I'd love to hear your take. I just want to make sure people ahead of time are figuring out the expectations before their trip and who they're bringing and sobriety and all that.
I mean, that is very common, but I would say it's more common. I'm going to say it's more common for it to be a big deal on like long trails.
Yeah, tell me more.
I have several friends that have hiked the Appalachian Trail that remember about half the trail.
Oh yeah, had a little party time out there, huh? A
That's
little
all.
five
That's all they did
day.
for 6 months. That's all they did. And they told me, they said that's such an easy culture to get into when you're on the trail.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's why you see a lot of college age or freshly out of college people going on the trail and doing that, because it's kind of their last hurrah before they get into real life and settle things down. So there's a lot of that happens really on those long trails. That's not to say it doesn't happen on weekend trips and stuff, but your weekend trips, a lot of times it's not so much to just go out and get blasted for a weekend. A lot of times it's just people want to enjoy a drink or they just want to hang out or whatever. But it
Hmm.
seems like the long trail is where the crazy happens.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, just from experience of doing longer trails, like I did the long trail in Vermont, and my wife and I did Camino de Santiago, which was like 6 weeks. And excuse me, from my experience, if you want to have adult beverages, you're never going to be able to drink enough that those calories aren't going to be burned off. So, like, if you wanted to, you could I mean, obviously, if you drink too much, you're going to be too inebriated to walk, and you could seriously get
Right.
hurt out there. But if it's the evening time and you want to have adult beverages, those calories aren't going to matter, and your metabolism is so high that the next day, you're not going to be in a position where you're probably not going to be able to hike. I don't know what it is, but your metabolism just burns off. So, like, let's say, for example, if you're at home and you're watching a football game and you drink a 6 pack of beer, that would be totally different than, and then wake up the next day and you have to work and maybe you're a little
Mhm.
hungover. I don't know. Versus you on the trail, you've been walking for 4 weeks straight and you drink that same 6 pack in an evening. And then the next day you're like, well, I shouldn't feel like this, but I feel like I could hike today. It's totally normal. So I'm not endorsing it. I'm not for or against it. I think you should hike however you want to. Obviously, I want everybody to be safe. I want to be safe through my actions. But to each their own, follow your state laws and guidelines and all that. But don't be surprised whenever you do see that on trail, because it's definitely a large part of the culture when it comes to outdoors. I
Yeah.
kind of feel like it almost goes with the territory, kind of like the hippy dippy almost attitude or community and the outdoors. They kind of been, hand in hand for so long. It's part of the culture.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you on that. That is there's a lot of that happens. So we got another one?
Oh yeah, man. We got a couple more here. All right, your next one. Especially if you're first starting or if you're doing too much, the trail will chew you up and spit you out. And that's why, like, recovery is so important. So, a little bit more on this. If you're doing a through hike, for example, some through hikers, they start the trail and they think, okay, I'll just let the trail whip me into shape.
Right.
And I got to tell you, in my opinion, that sometimes works, but most of the time, um, well, 75% of the people that start the AT don't complete it. So
Well,
that
and
could be
several
physical,
don't make
mental.
it past the first mountain.
Yeah, I mean, it's a large portion that they make it to the first trail town and they're like, okay, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's got nothing to do with physical activity. It's just, I thought this is going to be something different. And that's fine
Well,
too.
isn't it the knock that has the tree where everybody
Yeah,
puts their
Neil's
shoes
Gap.
that quit?
Neil's Gap. Yeah, they're at
Yeah.
the store.
Yeah, a
Mountain
lot of
Crossing, I
people.
think. Maybe.
What's that?
I think the store's name is maybe Mountain Crossing. Jason and I were there with a few other YouTubers. Y'all can go watch the video if you want. But yeah, that tree, I put it in my video. There's a bunch of boots and shoes hanging off that tree. A
Yep.
bunch of boots mostly.
Yeah,
Not to
boots
throw
mostly.
shots.
Yeah,
Not to
yeah.
throw shots at anybody, but it's mostly boots.
Right, right. You're not wrong about that. I think it's I think people have a grand view of what hiking is. Like they'll watch a movie like Wild or something and they'll think I can do this. This is
Mhm.
something I can do. And they get out there and they realize, "Oh man, this is like really really hard." And this is not fun at first because your body if you're not training for it, your body won't be ready. And when you get out there, it's just going to hurt. I mean, you're just going to be in pain for probably the first 2 weeks from
Mhm.
soreness, back pain, and it really I think backpacking is more mental than anything else. Cuz you can start cold and just hike a few miles a day, especially on the AT. There's tons of campsites, tons of water. You can hike 7 or 8 miles a day when you start just to get your body used to it and slowly increase your mileage. But you've got to have the mental fortitude to say, okay, I got to do a little bit more tomorrow. I got to hike a
Mhm.
little further tomorrow. I've still got to hike tomorrow. Like a lot of people just kind of give up because it's just so taxing on their body and they just don't know what to do.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if it was less taxing on your body, it makes the mental part easier.
Mhm.
'Cause,
Yep.
if you wake up and you're hurting and you're like, "I'm so sore, but I still have 10 miles to do today. I gotta work out this soreness." It'd be easier if you weren't sore.
Right. Right.
The biggest advice I see for, like, people that are training for that kinda thing is get out there and actually hike, and if you can't, like, let's say, for example, you live in Florida, but you wanna do
Right.
the AT, and you're like, "I wanna get in shape and do the AT," but
Yeah.
there's no mountains here. Stair stepper with a weighted backpack is awesome. Literally just going out for a walk every day is awesome.
Even if you have stairs in your
Weightlifting,
house,
yeah, go up and down them.
walk up and down your stairs. Do like 20 laps on your stairs, whatever you got to do.
And then for recovery, the Rology cork balls, or if you don't want to buy those, I'm sure there's some
Tennis
cheapies on
ball.
Amazon. Yeah, a tennis ball, but those work great on trail. Um, Little Donkey Andy, Little Blue,
Mm-hmm.
she gave me some homemade, it's like basically like Tiger Balm, but she's kinda hippy dippy, so she makes her own, and she
Yeah.
gave me a little tin of it, and that helps a lot on my knees, icy hot, that kinda stuff, and then my secret, dude, massage gun. I mean, I wouldn't take one
You
on a
take
through
one
hike.
on you take one on the trail?
I wouldn't take one on a through hike. They do make like really small ones,
I've
and
got one.
people will take them. Yeah, I think I got 3 total massage guns, but the one I'm talking about is they make really small ones that you could take if you wanted.
About that big.
Yeah, I mean,
I've
it's
got that's the one
size
I've got
green.
right now actually. Ours
Yeah,
died. Our
uh-huh.
nice one died and we didn't want to spend a lot of money on one. So we bought one for like 20 bucks or something at Walmart and literally the thing is super small.
Yeah, people take those like basketball tournaments, and, you throw it in your backpack, and then, if you're starting to get a cramp or you wanna warm your muscles up, or, for my example, I get done backpacking from a weekend trip, and dude, my glutes are so tight,
Mhm.
because 'cause you've been working them so hard, and you hit them with that massage gun, and dude, if you I remember the first time I used a massage gun was, like, probably 5 years ago. We were visiting Bridget's aunt in Florida, and we had went for a run, and she had one laying in the living room, and I was like, "What is this thing?" And she's like, "It's a massage gun." And I was like, "Well, how do you use it?" She's like, "Well, you just turn it on, you can turn it to whatever speed you want, and you put it on your leg or wherever." And I remember putting that on my lower back, and my leg was just like, "Oh," going crazy. And I was like, "Oh my god, it hurts, but it tickles. Oh, it's tickling me." And then it's like the muscle just releases, and then you move on to the next area.
Yep.
They're a magic worker, dude.
They really
I
are. They really
Yeah,
are.
so
Yeah,
that'd
I
be
can't
my
agree more.
suggestion on recovery. Oh,
That's
sorry, go
awesome.
ahead.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love the massage gun. Absolutely love it. I had some real issues with my shoulder and my neck about 2 months ago. I
Mhm.
mean, my neck for about 2 weeks was so stiff, like, it felt like granite. Like, I don't know what
Really?
I did, but it was in bad shape. I went to a chiropractor and they did needling. Have you ever heard of needling?
Yeah, athletes get it done, I think, and they stick the needle in and try to, like, work it back and forth.
Well, they don't even work it back and forth. They just stick it in there and leave it.
Oh, okay, so it's
So
not acupuncture.
it's not acupuncture, but it's similar.
Ok.
Acupuncture is very specific spots where they
Mhm,
they know the specific spots where they need to go. With needling, is they find an area where the muscles are super tight,
mhm.
and they put needles in that area to allow the blood to release to kind of tenderize the area a little bit. I guess that's the best way to describe it. But yeah, I've actually got a picture somewhere of me with like 11 or 12 of those things in the back of my neck.
Where do you get this done at? Is there, like, facilities
Yeah,
that
it's at the
are, like,
chiropractor's
catered to?
office.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'll tell you what. I'll see if I can find the picture, and I'll actually post it up here so you can see it. But
I'd like to
um,
see it. See, I'd heard of needling because I had a buddy that was a student athletic trainer on WKU's football team whenever we were going to college there. And he typically would just like tape up the athletes' ankles and wrists and stuff for football games and practice. But he's like, dude, these guys get so much work done off the field in these PT rooms. And he was telling me about the physical therapists like come in and stick these needles in their muscles and get the muscles to release. And I'm like,
yeah,
"What?"
yeah. Let me
I
see if I can pull this up real quick. Check this out.
Yeah, let's see it. Needles in the neck.
Yeah, this should pop up, and we'll see. There it is, right there.
Clean haircut. Looks
Yeah,
good.
thank you. Thank you. But yeah, all those needles were in the back of my neck.
Wonder how deep they are. Are they like a 1/4 inch deep, 1/8 of an inch?
They're in there pretty good, I think. I mean, obviously I was face down. She put the needles in and walked off, and I grabbed my phone out and tried to take a picture of it because I was like, what the heck does this even look like? And so, yeah.
So you took this picture yourself?
Oh yeah, I totally took this picture myself.
Yeah,
100% took that picture myself. I mean, nobody else was gonna take it, so there was nobody else in the room. But yeah, they have all kinds of different ways that they can release those muscles, and that I'll tell you, the needling is probably the thing that actually helped the most over the long haul. So,
Well,
yeah,
you think you
man,
just slept on it? Or what?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm 50, so you can always throw that into the equation. You know, old
Sometimes you
man
wake up,
injuries.
your neck hurts.
Yeah, I jack up my neck. Jason breaks his ankle. You know, us guys in our 50s, we're a mess.
Speaking of Jason, this sixth one he's gonna like because it kind of comes from him.
Let's hear it.
A hot take here. Hot take. I know we got a lot of listeners in California. Here we go.
Oh no.
We're ending on poop today. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, let's end it. That's typical for this show.
Or it's time to say the quiet part out loud. We're here to offend you today. Number 6. Wag bags and cat holes are more important in some places. And in some places, not really at all. And I think that we should unpack this a little bit. So if anybody is an avid listener to the podcast, they already know that I've tried and tried to explain to Mr. Backpacking with Jason, sir, which we had on the last 2 episodes. I split them in half, so you should go back and hear those if you want to hear about his broken ankle.
Mm-hmm.
He is of the opinion wag bags are totally dumb. You don't ever need to use them. And I tried to explain to him, kind of like Devin from Backcountry Exposure come on here and talk to us about. There's some locations where there's not the right bacteria in the sand or soil or whatever that needs to
Or
be
it's
there to
just
break down.
oversaturated with backpackers over the years that it's actually starting to be toxic to the water supply.
Mm-hmm. That was my next point. So sometimes it depends on the location and like the organisms or wildlife that lives in that location, and sometimes it's foot traffic. Those are 2 huge contributing factors.
Yeah.
Of course, the watershed. And there's a lot more that we're not going to mention today that I'm sure is important. But my point is that sometimes it's probably absolutely necessary to do a wag bag.
Yeah.
And one example is like what we were just talking about with the sand. If there's not something to break down the poop and you're supposed to carry it out, or it's a national park and there's so much foot traffic, there's just going to be poop everywhere if people just poop on the ground, and it's going to get washed into the watershed, and it's bad for the citizens, the wildlife, everything.
Right.
And then there's also sometimes where I feel like if you wanted to, it's great to dig a cat hole, but like if I'm out on a hike and this is a low traffic area, like we live in Appalachia, and some places I go and I'm like, dude, nobody has took a hike through here since last season. Like I'm literally beating down the weeds, excuse me, to even make it on the trail. And you look on all trails and it's like, do not do this trail. It's all overgrown. And that's because there's not enough foot traffic.
Right.
To maintain the trail. If I go 200 feet off that trail, most likely
You're not going to find another cat hole.
There's not going to be a cat hole. There's not going to be anything.
No.
And I think I would still dig a cat hole because what we're eating here, this ultra processed food and stuff, I probably don't want a deer or a squirrel or something walking up and eating that poop that I left on the ground. No. So I would suggest digging the cat hole, but I'm going to tell you, there's a big difference between you just pooping on the ground and leaving it in the location I'm describing, which is like the middle of the woods in the middle of nowhere where nobody's ever at, and you being on the AT at one of these shelters where there's there's a whole field, and that's where everybody poops all the time, and you can't hardly find a spot to dig without digging up somebody else's poop. There's a huge difference between those two. And sometimes I feel like in the outdoors community, it's like you're not allowed to say there's a difference. It's like it's like there's this this gospel of the poop
Yeah.
that you have to abide by.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, that's just my opinion, my dirty secret. I would say dig the cat hole, still do the leave no trace,
Right.
because somebody may come there and you don't want them stepping in your poop, and you don't really want the wildlife eating those foods that they shouldn't have in their diet anyway.
Right.
But there's a huge difference between those areas.
Well, and I want to say this too, because I don't think a lot of people understand. You'll hear a lot of people say, "Well, animals poop in the woods. Why can't people?" Well, animals don't eat what we eat.
They're eating
Like
acorns.
they're eating natural substances. 90% of American people, I'm not going to speak for other countries because I don't live there, but 90% of Americans eat processed, unnatural, chemically infused foods that are not natural in any way, shape, or form. And you're introducing that into the ecosystem when you poop. And so it's not the same as an animal pooping in the woods. It's just not. We need to quit saying that. We need to just get off that whole concept because it really is completely different. It actually, I was reading somewhere where it takes up to 10 times longer for human feces to decompose as it does for an animal's feces to decompose that lives in the
Really?
woods, just because of what's in it. It's almost like we've preserved our poop.
Yeah, well, all the stuff you're eating has so many preserved, not you in particular, but I'm just saying generally
Right.
speaking, you're in the West, all this stuff is so processed, it's not like we're just eating fruits and veggies.
Even though we should be.
We
But, and I say that as someone who doesn't do that. I should be doing that, but I don't.
I should
Um,
too.
But yeah, I mean, I just think we got to be real careful trying to reason things out like that because it's actually not the same. There is a difference. Now, I'm also not someone who's judging anybody right now on whether you use a wag bag or you dig a cat hole, whatever you do. The only thing I ask is if you're doing it in a place where I'm going to be hiking, please dig a cat hole and bury that stuff.
At the very least.
At the very least, don't. Man, one of my favorite spots at the gorge when I get there late at night. There's this one campsite. It's right off of one of the parking lots. Hardly anybody ever camps there. And if I ever get in like super late and I want to hike the next day, but I don't want to have to hike into the dark at night, there's this one spot I like to go to, and I can hang a hammock between these two trees. They're the perfect distance. It's a great spot. There's a fire pit there. Everything's ready to go. And I went there one day, and there was a huge pile of human feces and a pile of toilet paper next to it, just sitting on the ground. Right where I wanted to put my hammock.
That is so gross.
It's disgusting. I mean, it's like, come on, guys. Like, let's have a little bit of common decency here, and let's not do that.
I was gonna play a quick little game with you on decomposition. All right.
Never done that, but let's go.
Okay. Now, this is according to the U.S. National Park. All right. And if people want to find it, they can go to Helge Library or just Google chart how long it takes for stuff to decompose. You'll see.
Okay.
How long does it take for this to decompose? And I want you to tell me in years.
In years?
In years.
Okay.
Well, some of this stuff is in weeks.
Okay.
All right. So let's start with some stuff that's in weeks.
Right. Okay.
First one is just a train ticket.
A train ticket? Like a paper train ticket?
Yep.
37 weeks?
2 weeks.
Really?
Uh-huh. Just in the environment, if you were to throw it, in the soil and let the paper go away.
Okay.
What about an orange peel? Like you see a lot of these in the woods. People eat them. They throw the peel. Some animal tries to eat it.
And is this a week thing again?
This one's in months.
In months? 28 months.
6 months.
Man, I'm really overshooting these things.
0 for 2.
0 for 2. Well, you're not giving me multiple choice either. So I'm shooting in the dark.
That's true. Totally understandable. Don't worry. I'd be doing worse than you. What about a milk carton? This one's in years. It's less.
Are we talking like a plastic milk carton?
Mm-mm.
We're talking paper?
Yeah, like let's say you went to school and got one of those little cardboard milk cartons.
And that's in years?
It says it's in years.
I'm going to go 2.
5. I'm surprised.
That has to be plastic. That can't be paper.
I don't know, man.
Because a plane ticket or a train ticket was 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think a paper milk carton would be that long.
What about a tin can? Aluminum.
Oh, gosh. 48 years.
Man, you almost nailed it. 50 years.
Really?
I'll give you that one.
I'll take it.
Let's do 2 more.
Okay.
A AA battery.
Oh, another 50 years.
100 years.
100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It doesn't say AA. It just says battery.
Yeah.
And last one, what about your standard plastic bottle?
527 years.
Oh, man. You're so close. 450 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's what it says.
You know, we were talking with Rob Pelton a few months ago, and he was saying the biggest problem right now with litter is the plastic stuff. He said that's causing the biggest issue.
Yeah, should recycle as much as we can on the plastic, but we've talked before about industrial waste.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What we do doesn't make that much of a difference, but my recycling bin's full, dude. I would try to recycle so much. It only runs once a month. And once that recycle bin is full, everything else goes in the garbage. Okay. I want to ask you one more, and it's the toilet paper.
How long does it take for toilet paper to?
Yep.
Well, I mean, a train ticket was 2 weeks. I'm gonna go 5 weeks.
I done toilet paper. It done a wet wipe. It says 100 years for a wet wipe.
100 years.
100 years. Yeah, this is according to. Let's see. Well, actually, this is just a picture. It looks like at a trailhead, they had put up this thing. Then it had like paper, cardboard, orange peels, cigarettes. Just a picture, and I guess somebody.
So you're saying a battery decomposes quicker than a wet wipe? I don't buy that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is just Google stuff.
Yeah, the Google's lied on that one. There's no way that's true.
By the way, facts are optional on the show. Remember, anything you hear, this is an entertainment podcast. This is not necessarily facts-based podcast.
Please don't come here and then go to like your college or university and try and use these as resources for your facts that you're needing to learn.
This is what it says on toilet paper. This is according to realpaper.com, REEL. Okay. Traditionally, toilet paper that is flushed and processed in the water system can biodegrade in a couple of months, but it's commonly reported that toilet tissue that is left out in nature can take anywhere from blank to blank years to decompose. What do you think the blanks are?
Oh, I thought that was what they actually wrote. I was like, wow, that's a really dumb article.
No,
I don't know, 1 to 2.
1 to 3. Yeah,
1 to 3.
Nailed it. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, there's no way that toilet paper or wet wipes would last longer than batteries.
Well, I was just clicking on different images for the chart. Yeah, and it all might be made up. A lot of them are for the ocean, so I try not to click on the ocean ones because they're not really applicable to what we were talking about.
Right. That makes sense.
Those plastic bags never. Styrofoam 500 years or more.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
It breaks down, but it doesn't decompose.
Yeah, but I will tell you, in the grand scheme of things, if Earth is like billions of years old, this stuff it'll be gone, but probably not if we just keep on making waste until the end of time. So who knows?
Well, it's the show WALL-E. You saw the movie WALL-E, right?
Yeah, a long time ago. Is that the robot movie?
Yeah, where they were just mountains of trash all over the planet.
Hope we don't have to live through that.
Well, we won't. I don't think we can produce that much trash in the next 30, 40 years. But
yeah, just our great grandkids.
Yeah.
Maybe
by that point, who cares? We're gone, right?
Let's just kick the can down.
That's like the worst attitude ever. I don't care. I won't be here. Let's trash the place.
Yeah, that's what my grandparents said. And now look.
Right? Oh, man. Well, dude, this was a fun episode. I have an idea for our next episode. And are you willing to take a chance on just letting me say what it will be?
Oh, absolutely, dude. We can do whatever you want. We're 50-50 here.
How to anger other hikers on trail, specifically the ones that you are on the trail with.
Okay. I don't know what all this looks like, but I'm excited to talk about it.
I think it's going to be good. It's going to take at least an hour to talk about this because these are some good ones. These are some good ones.
All right. I need to
So,
write this down.
well, with that said, for myself and for Jeremiah Stringer, we will catch you guys on the next one.
Adios, folks.